Hi guys, welcome back to Redfern University. Just one of the questions I've had lately, I've had a student join the academy and he's come from a different system of Wing Chun and he said, wow, your forms are really different. I know I've done videos on these forms, I know there are instructional DVDs, all that sort of stuff. And I've done seminars and workshops. And you may have seen those and gone, well, I know why. But sometimes it's important that we go back around this stuff. So I'm just going to give like 3 to 5 minutes of why our forms are so different. See, in combat, structure, poise, balance, they're all critical components because they allow us to move more swiftly through our positions and transition and so on and so forth. So when you're doing the form, we have a higher level of engagement than I think most systems of Wing Chun do. What I mean by that is we're really gripping the floor. And we're creating this, when we move into the form, you know, when we're doing all of this, we move into the forms, that's not irrelevant because I'm using it to get to where I want to be, but it's when I get there is when the form really begins for me. Those are starting procedures. When I get out to that position and I lock down my core, I'm gripping the floor like my feet are a second pair of hands. I've engaged my hamstrings, my glutes, my quads, my entire base is engaged. And then I transfer that link of that energy into my hips and through my core. And then I've got this pushing energy. You know, we go through the process of finding our center line and punching and stuff like that. If you want to do that, you know, go to the forms, DVDs. But this is about what am I actually feeling and thinking? What is happening when the form actually kicks off? And what I'm doing is I've got this pulling, contracting tension. I've got contracting through my back, I've got stretching through my chest, I've got contracting through my chest and stretching through my back. I've got this perfect yin and yang kind of push-pull process happening in the form. And it's not just flopping my arm out in space, it's not soft. It's got, you know, it's like got elastic energy in the arm. There's tension there. It's not rigid, it's springy. Okay, and then you'll see things like large rotations and strikes, and it's, you know, drawing perfect circles and then penetrating down the center line, looking for the perfect striking point in the heel of the palm, not just slapping in the air and hoping for the best. Everything's done with purpose and intent. So really, if you think about all of those things happening, I'm going to kind of step off and down the rabbit hole for a second. When I've got this, we talk about kinetic linking in Wing Chun. That is not a phenomenon to Wing Chun. It is just, it's sports science. When I transfer energy from my base through my core, up to my shoulder girdle, through my elbow, and through my fist. That is a link, okay? And each one of those parts of that chain need to be perfectly synchronized with the next part of the chain to create that kinetic linking. And that means that I'm going to have the most amount of potential force or speed or energy or dynamics in any movement because of that conscious linking. It happens subconsciously as well. As an athlete, you need to consciously think about it while you're doing it. So when I'm doing it in the form, I'm linking what's happening with my feet. They're gripping, so that engages my calves. The calves engage, and I engage my hamstrings and my quads and my glutes and my lower back, my entire core, my upper back, my chest, my shoulders, everything, biceps, triceps, everything's involved in the movement. So you get this amazing kinetic link from the tip of my toes to the top of my head. Now you think about that and you have that kind of deeper understanding of how all of these parts work together, and then I start putting it into motion. You know, I'm going to have a high level of kind of consciousness about how all that fits together, and then, you know, put it together in a dynamic sense. You know, you're going to get a better result. You know, and if you look at it, it all starts with your base, your posture, your structure, your breathing, your alignment. And if you were going to say something to a dancer or an athlete or a track and field athlete or a fighter, and things like footwork, balance, posture, all of those things come into play all of the time. Okay, so it doesn't make sense to do a form that doesn't align you correctly, doesn't have those kinetic links in play. That to me is kind of like, if there's something missing, I've got to insert that later on. But if the form has it right from the get-go, you know, you've got something really special to work with. I think it's a very sophisticated form, the Sil Lum form. Lots and lots of cool things happening. It takes a long time to explain it, and much, much longer to master it. So this is really just the tip of an iceberg. But the difference we have is about kinetic linking, posture, breathing, structure, alignment. Those are all pretty cool things to get to have in one form. from the outside to the untrained eye, doesn't look like much is happening. But I'm not, that's okay. I'm not worried about what they think. All I'm worried about is what is actually happening internally with me. Okay? And that's why when we're doing the form, I'm constantly going around and testing the energy and the structure and the posture and their ability to absorb impact and maintain that integrity. That's really important. So yeah, our forms are different, but there's a reason why, and that is a portion of it right there. Thanks, guys.